Okay, so there was a big show yesterday, and I of course forgot to take any video at all. But I went out and met with a breeder and picked up some birds, and then I went to the show and picked up some other birds. And I have quite an eclectic mix here. So let's see, the boys are up top, the girls are down on the bottom. Let's zoom in a little bit. As you can see, I got another Texas clear body that looks very like Crystal, but he's a boy. Am I going to breed him to Crystal? Heck no. If you look at him next to the bird that he's standing next to, he's a little on the small side. Now, he's not as small as he appears. He actually does weigh about 60 grams, but the bird next to him is massive. So, and that's what we're looking for showbirds. So, I'm going to breed him to, let's see, probably to random or, what's her name? Pastel. I was hoping to pick up more females than I did. So I'm going to end up keeping Pastel and Random, even though I'm already breeding their yellow-faced sisters, Marine and Azul. And because there just wasn't enough girls to go around that had any reasonable size. So he's going to end up getting bred to one of them. So now I have 3 Texas clear bodies. I have, what's his name? Limey and his Marine. I have Crystal, and I have this guy, and of course I have Vision, who happens to be right there. No, that's Gray. Where's Vision? I don't know where she is. Anyway, she's around somewhere. So I'm breeding them out for size. So that's what's going to be happening next year. I mean, this breeding season, they're all going to get bred to non-Texas clear bodies that are bigger than they are, because we need some size in these birds. This is one of the things you run into the hobby, is that when you get to the mutations, nobody really seems to know how to breed them and get, everybody wants to go straight to the short game, breed 2 of the same mutation together and get babies of that mutation. But the babies are getting inbred, so they're smaller and smaller and smaller. So I'm going to outbreed for a generation and then breed the babies back again. So this little guy he's sitting next to now is a yellow. He's like Phantom. I went to this breeder to pick up a 9-month-old chick, but this guy is what I ended up with. He offered me 2 birds. Maybe one of them was a 9-month-old chick, but I thought they both were, so I picked up this guy, and he has an orange band on, which I think makes him a 2014, and he is not big. But that's okay. Phantom is big, and I got him this gray lady right here to breed to, and she is a big girl. And Phantom, Hyacinth is kind of on the rocks right now. I don't know if it's because of the air sac mite medication or because she has something else going on. If she doesn't start feeling better, I may have to use one of the other yellow-faced sisters to breed the random. So we got stuff going on here. So that's 2 lines of yellow face coming out of 2 males. Like I said, this guy's disappointingly small, but I'll deal. So then we have this big guy right here. His tail got knocked off, but he's got nice wing feathers, so we know that it's going to grow back again. He's a great big guy, and he is split to lace wing. What's a lace wing, you may ask? That is a lace wing. They look like albinos. They have yellow, or they have red or ruby eyes, but they have markings on their wings. Hers are faint. Let me zoom in a little and see if you can see them. You see she has markings on those wings. They're cinnamon colored markings. And those are the only markings on her whole body. They're marked like normal birds, only they're cinnamon. This girl's markings are a little faint, but I'll deal. Okay, so this girl is another older bird. I think she's 3 years old or so. But getting a hold of a bird with this mutation is not easy. So the fact that she is tiny, I'll work with. So I'm going to breed, am I going to breed her to this guy that's split? No, I am not. He's big, but she's tiny. So I'm going to outbreed her to, Oh, to this blue guy here, who is another big, beefy bird. So, that's birds I picked up yesterday. I also picked up this little lavender girl. She's a violet opaline. And she's only 4 months old, so she's next year's baby. And I found, look at that little cockatiel. He's a white-faced cockatiel. He's sexed, sexed and definitely male. So now my albino cockatiel girl, Cotton, has a boyfriend. And I have 4 beautiful pairs of cockatiels, and that will be enough for me. So anyway, they are all in here because, of course, they have to go through quarantine. Also, I am treating my entire flock for air sac mites. This is the last thing, the last treatable issue that I can deal with. So these guys are in quarantine, and their first step in the quarantine is going to be air sac mites medication. These birds were all treated, these are all my old birds that I've had, and they were all treated individually for air sac mites. However, I determined that really I need to, if I have this many birds that have an active infection, then I have to treat the whole flock. So, these guys already got 1 treatment, so I pulled them in here for 24 hours while I treat the rest of the flock for their first treatment, and then I'll put them back outside and they'll all get the second treatment together. These guys are going to be in here for their 3-week quarantine. It's going to start with the air sac mite treatment. One thing about air sac mite treatment, if you have an older bird that has a heavy infestation, what happens is when you give them the, I use either moximectin if I'm treating an individual bird or ivermectin if I'm treating the whole flock. You give them that, it kills the air sac mites in all of their air sacs and airways, and the little bodies of the little things die in there and cause an infection in the bird's airways. So, when you're treating a bird for air sac mite infestation, you have to immediately follow it with a course of antibiotics on the first treatment. Subsequent treatment, so I have to do this again in 2 weeks. Once these guys get through the first treatment where the big die-out happened, there's not really any danger of that infection happening because they don't have that many air sac mites left after the first treatment. But for instance, this is Storm up here. He's an older bird. He's probably 3 or 4 years old, but he doesn't have a band. He had a mate that died that was 5 years old. He's done the sneezy thing off and on. So I treated him. He's in the middle of breeding, and I don't want it to give it to his baby. So I treated him. Nothing's hatched yet, so we're safe and sound as far as babies go. But he's really struggling. He can sit there on the perch and have a coughing fit for several minutes straight. But of course, I treated her as well because if she's his mate, they've been doing an awful lot of kissing. So they are on antibiotics to support him while his body works to clear all of his airways. He's still going to get some kind of infection because of the foreign bodies, but it's going to be held under control and allow his body time to handle it. Interestingly, I have these 2 little tiny birds. There's Beryl, and there is Cloudy. They both have beautiful, beautiful feather, and they're both teeny. I got them from the same place. Where did Beryl go? There he is. And when I put them together, they behave as though they know each other. Okay, that's Beryl. That's Cloudy. She's there with Bubba, so he's her mate. But interestingly, these 2 birds are not very old. They're probably just about a year old now, or they will be in another month or so. But they both had a brutal infestation of air sac mites, and I know this because the minute I medicated them, they went into the struggling to breathe, hacking and coughing, and the whole thing. They behaved like a bird twice their age that had a terrible infestation. So here's another one of those things that I suspect stunts growth is air sac mite infestations, especially if they get them young. So it's going to be really interesting to see what these 2 babies turn out like, because I'm breeding her to Bubba, who's a great big male, and if she has hidden genes in there for a bigger bird, we're gonna have some gorgeous babies. So that's the story on here. This is my breeding couple. They stopped at 3 eggs and they're working their way through their air sac mite infestation before those eggs hatch. These guys are held inside because they had their first treatment already. They'll go out tomorrow. And these guys are in here for their 20-day quarantine, and these are the last birds that I'm bringing into my breeding project. This is it. The breeding season starts in October 15th. These guys are going to be quarantined by then and out in the big flights, and I have 18 pairs figured out. With selective breeding strains for lacewing and clear flight pied and the dilute, which are all rares, and we'll be off and running. And everybody's been quarantined for absolutely everything. I've cleared the flock, so with any luck at all, we're going to jump out the starting gate in the 2018 breeding season, ready and raring to go. And that's my little tiny baby. I suspect this little bird is going to be a feather duster. It'll be interesting. I'll keep you posted.